Oh, wow. Okay. This is the nice episode. As many of you that watch this type nice. Cool. Hi. Name's Sebastian. This is Vision Denial in the Road to MSI, where I go and watch every region's playoff series for MSI. Yes, including that one and this one here, where I'm beyond surprised. We've got here Paris Saint-Germain versus Beyond Gaming, where Paris Saint-Germain 3-0s in a fairly decisive fashion. Got my cat. All right. Let's get to it. Honestly, I'm quite impressed with Paris Saint-Germain in this one. And not because, like, this was an absolute stomp. Because in a lot of perspectives, this was an absolute stomp. But because, like, so many aspects of their gameplay was very clean. Now, I'm going to go through some of the things that I like and dislike, as usual. But this helps gives a different perspective in terms of what to expect out of the region going into MSI. The ceiling to floor comparison. So, first things first, Beyond Gaming has decent enough vision, as well as like tracking of jungle, good sense of early game, how to get win conditions done. The issue, however, is Beyond Gaming is passive as hell. Super passive. Like, the fuck, bro. Every time they get tempo lead, they just kind of meander with it forever until Paris Saint-Germain find an opportunity to, grab it easily from them without any contest. Because the tempo that Paris Saint-Germain plays is fairly quick. It's not the best, honestly. If up against a Chinese team, I think they would have a hard time. But it's consistent. It's good. I appreciate what I was watching when it was happening. The biggest difference also between the two is that Paris Saint-Germain has more awareness in terms of their limits for team fighting. That doesn't stop them from making random decisions to approach a team fight willy-nilly, disjointed, disconnected, and like timing the engages bizarrely, and like there's very little communication going on, which I don't think is the case. There's clearly some communication because their vision denial is fucking awesome. Like, if they have the opportunity to black out the entire map for the opponent, done. I don't know where this was for their first series, because this was not the same kind of team. So, awesome. I think that the let's see. I think it's weird though in terms of like compositions and what they develop. It's not a lot of creativity. It's usually the same thing. They play at least that same composition in a way that's like fun, but it also tends to lean away for some of the win conditions, which is unfortunate, because if you're going to lean into team fighting, why haven't you built a lot more simpler compositions to approach from? Now, they're not wholly one-in-one the same every composition for Paris Saint-Germain. Their third game had a slightly different variation. Instead of being a 1-3-1, it was a 1-4. Great. But otherwise, it was around the same kind of stuff over and over again. I think it was the least likable thing about it, but look, if I'm gonna trade like pick and ban quality for like in-map play quality, I'll take that 100%. What it does, however, is that Paris Saint-Germain is a very readable and very obvious team to approach. It's very easy to know exactly the way that River, their jungler, plays. Pretty predictable in the map movement. It's very easy to tell what kind of stylization or style of compositions they like to play. So if you want to like avoid them from playing it, it's easy to ban out. Or if you want to play a composition you think can shut it down very easily, that's very easy to predict. They're not that creative. They don't. It's and not to like harp on it, but they like early game compositions. And awesome. I want to see more teams really want to like explore early game compositions, but those kinds of compositions are by nature more difficult to do. And if you're not a tier 1 team, I highly recommend not doing very complicated compositions. Now, granted, this is a team from a region that has a world championship on their belt. So, like, maybe put a slide, but it's also one of the swingiest regions so far where I consider only one team to actually be of quality, and that's Paris Saint-Germain. I doubt 100% that whoever wins their next playoff series, which is going to be the next one we review, uh, being Machi X versus Beyond Gaming on the final semifinals, I doubt that whoever wins between those two is going to beat Paris Saint Germain, and mostly because Machi is got a high tempo and is aggressive enough, but they're very sloppy and inconsistent on a lot of their executions, and it's kind of usually coin flippy. And Beyond Gaming is very passive, and they'll be very good at punishing, but they show that like they don't know how to respond to consistent tempo that goes on and on and on and on. So no, honestly, I'm gonna analyze them just for the sake of getting a better understanding of what to expect out of Paris Saint Germain if they do win. Granted, I could be wrong. I was almost wrong about Edward Gaming versus Royal Never Give Up. I was almost wrong about Cloud9 and Team Liquid. I was almost wrong about a lot of different things. Heck, I was almost wrong about Mad Lions. But, like, currently I don't see the gap between Paris Saint-Germain and the rest of the region to change. Not in, like, in a couple of days. Granted, like, a couple of days for those playoffs. I'm watching these way too late. So what does this mean really for like top of the ladder to bottom of the ladder, like the ceiling to floor comparison? Well, the floor is mostly got a nice gradient to them. There's not like a huge difference between really terrible to like kind of okay. You can see a nice little smooth graph for it. But Paris Saint-Germain is so far above, and not to say that they don't have their mistakes going on from this, because the lack of creativity in their draft, as well as the fact that they overstep and are overconfident in a lot of aspects, and that they have very poor or inconsistent neutral setups, are very big red flags to me that make it very easy to like catch them out. But they're the best closing team out of the region. They're the best early game team out of the region, and considering how their composition preferences are early game and closes quickly, who can complain? Eh? It just also means that they're going to face off against teams that are very good at holding out and playing your later game compositions, or playing out later game regardless of the composition type that they have. And we haven't reviewed the region selection because they've been drawn with each other already. That's going to be the last episode I do. I'll do a quick summary between all of them. But I have a feeling that they're going to have a hard time facing off. If Paris Saint-Germain is the one to go, they'll have a hard time facing off against anybody that specializes in late game play, or anybody that's better at them in early game play. Because early game is great, but North American teams, and as well as European teams, I think have early game play a little bit more down pat. And that worries me overall for the region. Just a little bit. But we'll see. In the finals, if they show me something better, like if they show a drastic improvement and they stomp even harder, maybe it'll quell my worries for a bit. But for the moment, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Type nice if you want to. This is the 69th episode. We've got 7 playoff series left to go. One more, and the next one being Beyond Gaming versus Machi X, and then every single one of them is a final from every region. Where I can see the finish line. I should be done all of them tomorrow. Today being May 4th. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.